Okay, today's the final day of the first part of my 30 and 30. I've been working on the Central, okay? And I've gone over teams, National League, American League, and over back and forth and back and forth. I alternate every day, okay? After today, I'm going to go to the West, National League and American League West, and after that, I'm going to go to the East, baseball fans. So your team's coming if they haven't been touched already or talked about already. The teams in the other teams in the Central in the description down below. So are my 2021 MLB predictions video and my contract predictions video as well. So take a look at those down below for your enjoyment. Newbies to the channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up, so you can enjoy good content. And welcome to the channel. And your support is greatly appreciated. You folks make the channel better, just like the people that have been watching since day one. You're the best. Today, we're going to go to the most exotic place in baseball, Kansas City, Missouri. We're going to make it sexy today. And my final team in the Central, Kansas City Royals. Again, we're going over their offseason, kind of identifying their biggest needs, what I think they should do versus what I think they will do, predictions-wise. So I've identified, let's see here, I got my baseball book, bullpen, outfield, and second base or versatile infield player. Some folks are like, wait a minute, Whit Merrifield. Well, I actually think, and I've heard that they want to move him to the outfield, so I have a kind of proposal here that I think might be a good idea. So let's start with the bullpen. I think they should sign Aaron Loup, veteran pitcher, been around for a little while, as a serviceable bullpen piece. Again, Kansas City is really not in a position to contend right now. This is an opportunity to maybe bring in some incremental veteran players, combine them with some of the players that they already have, maybe trade a valuable player or two that they have that's got a couple of years of control, which makes them a prime trade asset with a lot of value, so they can extract good prospect capital in return. Maybe combine with some of their young prospects from the farm to see what they actually have. See if there's any of these guys are going to get a shot to be mainstays in their team for the future, for the next couple of years. Combining them with the veterans, so you start a kind of a slow rebuild and a reshuffle. Like I mentioned, other teams like the Tigers and the Pirates, they're in a position to do things like this too. Each one of them has some kind of trade capital, and even though they may be veterans that have been there forever, and it would probably be an unpopular move for that franchise, but this is an opportunity for teams to take a step back, to maybe take 2 steps forward or even 3 steps forward. So incremental piece like Aaron Loup for the bullpen. Again, I think they should bring in probably 1 or 2 guys, or maybe even 3 guys in the bullpen. Just an opinion, but Aaron Loup is probably he's probably the right fit at this point, in my opinion. Outfield, somebody like Cameron Maybin. He's been a veteran. Everywhere he's gone, he's been just a classy player, not get in trouble. He's a solid outfielder, and he plays good, solid baseball. He's a good contact hitter, and he's a really, really good clubhouse guy, a really, really good teammate. And I think he'd be a good fit in that environment with Whit Merrifield and some of these other players as well. To me, he'd be a good fit on a lot of teams. But I think the Royals at this point, that they have a great fan base, and they've got, they have some good players, and I think he's a guy that can come in and just make, complement the veterans really well, but at the same time take some of the pressure off these guys and give the younger guys an opportunity to play and just develop gradually. And to me, I like him. I'm a Yankee fan. He was traded to the Yankees even for a little while, but he was a great fit there. I was hoping they'd bring him back, but he, unfortunately didn't get re-signed. But I think, that he'd be a great fit to be signed by the Kansas City Royals. And second base, somebody like Jonathan Schoop, who's been into journeyman a little bit too. He's been around the American League for a bit, but he's a solid player, decent contact hitter. He's solid in the field, and it gives them the opportunity to move Whit Merrifield into the outfield while keeping him. To me, is a good trade candidate. To extract a good prospect capital in return. I know he's kind of the face of the franchise, so it would be unpopular with a lot of fans, but this is a prime opportunity to trade him to a team that has a need for a good contact hitter, and who plays second base or who has versatility to play second base and outfield. I think he would get a lot back for the Kansas City Royals. So it's an opportunity to subtract one, create one hole, but fill maybe 3. At the major league and minor league level. So somebody like Jonathan Schoop's another veteran player who would complement somebody like Cameron maybe, and you're bringing in two quality guys to to come in and be parts of that infield and outfield and part of that lineup, which gives them again some good veteran pieces to complement some of the other players they have. Because I don't see them at this point making any big expenditures. I actually can't remember the last time they made a big expenditure. Maybe Mike Sweeney, maybe, but so guys like this I think are the route to go right now. What I think they should do. That's not an insult. Please don't take it as an insult, Kansas City fans. I think that's just where the franchise is right now. And I rooted for them when they played in the World Series against the Mets. I was really fun watching them win. But they've had a lot of their top guys move on and stuff via trade or free agency. So right now it's kind of let's reshuffle, let's develop some guys so you have more Alex Gordons coming along and stuff like that. So let me move over to what I think they will actually do, my prediction side. In terms of bullpen, I think they'll bring in somebody like Tommy Hunter, who's another veteran, has been around for a while, has played in the American League and National League. Again, he's a good quality guy, consistent, and he'll give them that solid inning or two in the bullpen when they need it. And again, they have some young bullpen pieces, young pitching prospects that they can let develop. And you bring in a guy like Tommy Hunter, maybe even a second reliever, like a Tony Watson or somebody like that, to give them more depth, because I think depth is something that a lot of teams don't have. Some teams are so heavily front-loaded, and then they don't have the depth and then when there's a problem, they get into trouble. So this is where I think it's a good opportunity to load up with depth. And the guys like Tommy Hunter and Tony Watsons of the world are be good depth pieces for the bullpen. And it gives opposing teams different looks on a regular basis. Even if you get to the point where you're in a playoff and you're having one of those starter games where you're starting different players and so on and so forth, you can use a bunch of guys, and that's where depth pieces come in. Guys can throw 1 inning or 2 innings, and then you mix it up. So the opposing players aren't getting a chance to get used to a pitcher. So a lot of teams are doing that. Tampa Bay did, and there's just a lot of teams are doing that now. So outfield, I'm bringing in somebody like Matt Joyce, another veteran player, is not going to cost a lot. Neither will Tommy Hunter, so it fits with their kind of small market, incremental spending model. And again, an affordable player who will be serviceable, who will play on a regular basis. Decent bat, solid in the field. Again, not flashy, but it doesn't have to be. Some teams that make the least flashiest moves wind up having the most success, particularly if it's a bunch of depth pieces. If you bring in 5 or 6 solid guys instead of 1 or 2 super duper thoroughbreds, it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. I think more teams should do it, and so they're in a position to do that. And in terms of the second base position, I like Jurickson Profar. And I've actually recommended him to a lot of teams. He offers the versatility too. What I like about him, he's kind of like the transverse with Merrifield. So you can put him at second and put Merrifield in the outfield, or you can put Merrifield in second. You can put Jurickson Profar in the outfield. You can alternate them. Give them a couple days here, a couple days. You can do a lot of things. Plus, he's only 28. He's not going to cost a lot of money. He'll be a serviceable veteran. You can bring him in on a 1 or 2 year deal. Another guy to plug in the lineup. You bring in him and a Matt Joyce or something like that. Some good solid depth. And he was one of the top prospects in all of the majors 3 or 4 years ago. Now he's been kind of bumping around teams, but I think he'd be a good fit. And he's only 28, like I said, so he's got some years ahead of him to play. You can get all of these guys on an affordable deal, and it's not going to break the bank, and it kind of fits in with the Royals model of bringing in incremental players. And then, like I said before, it gives them depth so that they have some flexibility to let the younger kids develop, whether it be at the higher levels in the minors or up in the majors, in a low-pressure environment. So it's not like the steam cooker in New York or in Boston or Chicago, where it's in LA where the pressure's high. This is it's a smaller market right now, but and they do spend when they're playing really well and they're contending, and I do hope that they get to the point where they're contending again in a couple of years. But teams like this too, having a couple of down years, plus it gives them an opportunity to have several years of high draft picks, so a higher chance for some of these guys to pan out. like some of these other teams, like the Tigers and the Pirates and the Orioles and stuff like that. So hopefully that having a couple down years will give them some good fortune on the other end. I don't like to see them not playing well, but at the very least, they can get some high draft pick capital in return and hopefully develop them well. So that's what I have the Royals doing. Okay, let me know what you think. Again, if you're a Royals fan, I want to know what your perspective is, and let me know what what your ideas are this offseason, because you know more about your team than I do. Even though I research all the teams, it's not like I'm not a Royals fan, so a lifelong Royals fan and stuff like that. I'm a diehard Yankee fan, so they're the team I know most about. You're a Royals fan, that's the team you know most about. So put your thoughts in the comments down below. We have dialogue with everybody. I respond to everybody, and we keep great dialogue. You folks are what makes this channel great. So, and again, if you hit that subscribe button before you leave, if you haven't done so, hit the thumbs up. We're going to move over to the West next, so be on the lookout for that tomorrow. I'll see you then.